Hello and welcome to this short information video. My name is April Matchett and I am the Communications and Diversity Manager at NIJAC. I am pleased to announce that NIJAC are launching a recruitment scheme to appoint 3 fee-paid valuation members to the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal. The scheme is now open to applications and will close at 12 noon on Monday, the 3rd of April 2023. I'm delighted to be joined in this video by Tim Hopkins, a Chartered Surveyor and Valuation Member. Tim has served on the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal for 15 years and is also on the selection committee for this recruitment scheme. He will be sharing with us about the work of the tribunal, the role of a valuation member, and the selection process for this judicial office. Well, Tim, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, April. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can we start by you telling us a bit about your own background and how you came to serve on the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal?
Well, I'm a Chartered Valuation Surveyor by profession. I have over 30 years experience in the valuation of residential and commercial land and property in Northern Ireland. I joined the Valuation Tribunal approximately 15 years ago, and I applied in exactly the same way as the candidates are being encouraged to apply for the available positions now. I went through the same interview process and I've been working with NIVT since.
Well, we're glad you can join us, Tim, because I think you'll be a wealth of experience and information for those watching. I suppose it would be helpful if you gave us an overview of the work of the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal first.
Well, the Valuation Tribunal has 2 functions at the moment. One, it deals with domestic rating appeals, and secondly, deals with high hedge disputes. Now, in relation to domestic rating appeals, the Commissioner of Valuation for Northern Ireland and his team set the rateable value for domestic housing. There's a dispute resolution process to go through with Land and Property Services if you're unhappy with the capital value that they've assessed on your property. But ultimately, if you're still unhappy, it ends up with the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal. Now, the tribunal will sit and their options are to uphold the capital value and keep it in the list, or to amend the capital value if they deem the appeal is successful. The second matter they deal with is high hedge disputes, which come under the High Hedges Act Northern Ireland 2011. And those are basically neighbourhood disputes over right to light to gardens and to residential property. Now, in that scenario, your local council will come out and assess the height of the offending hedge, and they can issue an action notice requiring the hedge to be reduced in height. Now, the appeal process is either or. It can be the hedge owner who appeals because they don't want to reduce their hedge in height, or it can be the person who's affected who appeals because they say it hasn't been taken down enough. And the tribunal again considers the evidence. In that case, there's an on-site inspection, and the valuation member reports back to the legal member who again, between them, they determine should the action notice remain unchanged or should the hedge be reduced further than the action notice suggests.
Well, that sounds like interesting and varied work.
It is. It's very interesting, especially the high hedges, which are on-site inspection, and I find them very interesting, I must admit.
So in terms of being a valuation member, what can you tell us about the role that they play on the tribunal?
Well, the role isn't that onerous. You may be required to sit on the valuation tribunal 2 or 3 times a year. You'll need to read the papers initially to make sure there's no conflict of interest, and if there's a potential conflict of interest, that would need to be declared to the tribunal. If you're free from conflicts, then it's a matter of reading up on the papers, making sure you understand the nature of the dispute, and then attending the valuation tribunal, either virtually or in person, with 2 other members who make up a 3-party panel. So there is a legal member, the valuation member, and a lay member. Now, even though the valuation member may be the one with the particular expertise in relation to valuation, you've got to bear in mind that it is a 3-party panel and the three-party panel will hear evidence from both sides, and then they will decide jointly whether the valuation remains unamended in the list or whether it should be amended.
And you mentioned there you have been a valuation member for 15 years.
Yes.
So tell us what you enjoy most about the work.
Well, everyone learns from the experience. The candidates who apply for this position, you have the opportunity to develop better communication skills, and you'll definitely develop better fact-finding skills. You'll also learn how to deal with applications effectively, bearing in mind that some of the applications that come before the tribunal will be very contentious, and some of the applications that come before the tribunal will maybe have a limited chance of success, but the party appealing is very emotionally involved, and you'll develop excellent skills in relation to how you deal with that individual and explain to them why you've reached the findings that you have.
And Tim, you're also sitting as a member of the selection committee for this particular scheme.
Yes.
Could you tell us about the selection process that applicants will have to go through?
Well, the applicants need to demonstrate that they have a minimum of 3 years valuation experience. After that, it's a fairly simple process of filling in an application form and attending the interview. Now, you shouldn't be too daunted about attending the interview. I mean, we understand that the majority of valuers in Northern Ireland do not have direct experience in dealing with domestic rating disputes, and certainly not with high hedge disputes. But when you attend the interview, in preparation for it, no doubt you will have read the relevant legislation. But the best place I can point you to is the Judicial NI website, where all the decisions from all the courts in Northern Ireland are published. Now, it's a matter of searching NIVT and reading through maybe the last year's decisions that have been posted on that site. And there you will get a very good understanding of what it is the tribunal do, what legislation they consider, and how they've arrived at their decision.
Some helpful resources there, Tim.
Yeah.
Can we finish then just by you giving some advice to those who are considering applying to be a valuation member?
Don't be overwhelmed by it or daunted by the fact that it's to deal with legislation that you're maybe not working with in your day-to-day environment. If you have the minimum 3 years valuation experience, you should be well equipped to assist the tribunal. And I would just encourage you that if it's the sort of thing that you're interested in, put your best foot forward. We'd be glad to see you.
Tim, thank you for joining us and for the helpful information that you've shared.
Not at all, April. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, let me finish by reminding you that the Northern Ireland Valuation Tribunal recruitment scheme is now open to applications and closes on Monday, the 3rd of April at 12 noon. It is intended to make 3 appointments and to hold a reserve list for 12 months. For further information and to apply, please visit the NIJAC website, www.nijac.gov.uk, where you will find the applicant information booklet, job description, and other helpful documents. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.